Welcome to KIOSCO MORISCO. Originally designed to be an exhibition pavilion in 1884, during Diaz's second term in office, at the World's Fair in New Orleans. The main idea was that Mexico had a participation that would enhance our country. So Porfirio Diaz called his friend José Ramón de Ibarrola, an engineer and architect, to carry out this monumental task and to highlight the presence of Mexico in this important fair. Thus, the KIOSCO MORISCO, Moorish kiosk, was born. It was named for its evident muddy-jar architectural style, also known as Hispanic Muslim. Today, it's one of the most notable symbols of the Santa Maria la Ribera neighborhood, but it does have its own history. And here it is in a nutshell. Once the decision to build the monumental kiosk was made, the challenges began. There were no foundries in Mexico to make the iron structure that was required. Therefore, Andrew Carnegie, owner of the first great steel company in Pittsburgh, offered to help Ibarrola to finalize the design, and thus this great feat was achieved. Although the pavilions were designed to be removable, as is the Moorish kiosk, there are still some that remain in place or have been erected elsewhere, such as the famous Eiffel Tower in 1889. The construction of the kiosk was based on steel and glass. Since we were right at the end of the Industrial Revolution, this project would have to be an avant-garde model. It would have to emanate the romantic, historicist, and eclectic air, very characteristic of the end of the 19th century. This work combines iron, steel, zinc, and even silver. It has an octagonal shape, with a porch with 3 arches located at the end of a staircase that serves as an entrance. It is made up of 44 exterior columns and 8 in the interior that support a glass dome topped with the national symbol of the bronze eagle that devours a snake, a symbol of our country. Once the structure was built, it was transferred to New Orleans, then to Chicago, and later to the St. Louis, Missouri Fair in 1889. In 1908, it was shipped to Paris until 1909, and then it was brought back to Mexico City. And it was installed in the Alameda Central, in the center of the Mexican capital. The impressive structure was installed where the Juárez hemicycle is currently located, but not without first creating a new set of challenges. Where to put it? In the Seminary Square, or next to the cathedral, or in front of the Corpus Christi convent. And this is where it ended up being placed, in the Alameda Central, right where the hemicycle of Juárez is now located. But wait, that was yet another dilemma. By placing the hemicycle to Juárez in the same place, the kiosk would have to be relocated. So, per the request of the residents of the Santa Maria la Ribera neighborhood, it was possible for the kiosk to have a place in the middle of their garden. While it was in the Alameda Central, national lottery draws were held, and on Sundays there was a show of folk singers and dancers. This whole structure can be taken apart at any moment and taken to any other place and put together again. It was Felix Diaz, Porfirio Diaz's nephew and General Police Inspector, who was in charge of the inauguration ceremony on September 26, 1910, 10 days after the celebration of the beginning of Mexico's independence. It was used as a projection room, only at that time it included windows in the arches. In order to move all the pieces once disassembled, like a puzzle, 21 railroad cars were needed. It made stops in different cities while traveling abroad, and different shows were given. The orchestra or band would get down to perform. Once installed at the exhibition sites, it featured a pyramidal stage where Mexican folk art, gold and silver jewelry, and exquisite Mexican textiles would be presented. Once it arrived to its new and permanent home, the people met on Thursdays and Sundays, all those who wanted to enjoy a joyful serenade. The typical orchestra of Mexico, a war band, would also perform, mainly to play waltzes, and there would be a dance at the end. There were also benches on its surroundings and hot chocolate vendors, among other goodies. Artists and intellectuals came and passed through here, in such a way that initially the streets were named after flowers, trees, and plants. But over time, the names of these streets were changed to the names of artists and intellectual figures from here. Amado Nervo used to hang out here, alone on a bench, a sober observer. Your hair is black like the wing of mystery, as black as a gloom never, like a goodbye, like a who knows. But there is something ever blacker, your eyes. Your eyes are two pensive wizards, two sphinxes sleeping in the shade, two very beautiful enigmas. But there is something even more beautiful, your mouth. Your mouth, oh yes, your mouth, divinely made for love, for warm communion of love, your young mouth. But there is something even better, your soul collected, silent, of mercy as deep as the sea, of tenderness so deep. But there is something deeper still, your reverie. Dr. Athel, with his wooden leg, whose studio was located on Pine Street. It also served as a huge roller skating rink at one point, but it became very dangerous because it had no railings. Remember that Moorish architecture does not have railings, so they had to adapt it in order to avoid an accident. It has already been more than a century in the Alameda de Santa Maria la Ribera, and yes, it has had quite a few interesting moments. On November 16, 1919, it was completely illuminated by thousands of lights in memory of beloved Nervo, who had lived in its surroundings, paid for by the poet Miguel León Osorio. Nervo died on a mission in Montevideo, Uruguay, as ambassador of Mexico. In 1967, a circus elephant named Judy escaped. She ran to this place and stopped here. People ran in panic. José Alfredo Jiménez, the great singer, worked as a waiter in a nearby restaurant. It is worth mentioning that this is a dog-friendly park, and this is an excellent place to train your dog and to have fun in the company of other dogs that come to this park frequently, since it has special places to receive your four-legged pet. And finally, just in front of the mall, is the elegant Geology Institute Museum, Frenchified eclectic style, and that we will be visiting in a future video. If you like this video, you can subscribe to this channel where you will find places of interest around Mexico. Activate the bell if you want to know when we upload a new video, and hit the like button if you liked it. Thank you, and see you soon.